Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Gnostic. I'm not sure what that means, man. What's that mean, fam? Let me Google it. It better not be negative, bro. If you guys have any negative stuff, don't respond to it like we have in the past. Just don't respond to it. Not saying yours is negative, bro, at all. Not sorry to say that at all. But I was just kind of, on the same token, I might as well say it. Spiritual matters pertaining to the characteristic of Gnostics. Based on with the divine. Man, I wish. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of direct contact with the divine. FBI entered the chat like, yep, you know it. So, I just shared that fairy video, in fact. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that, Danny. Appreciate that, for real. Yeah, any like I said, I hate asking for gifts, guys, but I'll tell you what. Anything at all is better than nothing. But if I even started making I don't even like throwing numbers out there, but even $50 a live, you know what I'm saying? Then I wouldn't have to deal with other platforms, deal with Patreons and all the bullcrap around them. It's it's overwhelming, you know what I'm saying? And it definitely I'd like to get to where I'm going live every night because I get better turnout that way. And I swear, the later I go, the better it is too. I don't know. So, yeah, so check out that fairy video if you haven't checked it out. It's the latest video. I just saw it on the internet. It's this lady. She shared them all on her social webpage, probably Facebook or Instagram. She shared all these pictures. They were basically pictures, and they looked legit to me, of fairies, okay? They looked real. They looked real. And she said that the reason she sees them so easily and she spots them, they're always around us. And they're always contributing to our vibe and our aura. And they love us and they want to see people succeed, right? But most people don't even know they exist. But this lady started sharing them and she'd point them out to family members. And the family members would never spot them. They'd be like, what are you looking at? So she thought, well, what the heck? Why can't you see him? I can see him so easily. Well, she started thinking about it, and she contributes it to training she had while working for the CIA. She worked under Project Gateway. It was basically a project described as training to bring strength, focus, and coherence to the amplitude and frequency of the brainwave output. Okay? They found that the side we use most, or each side of our brain has a frequency. And on the left hemisphere, it acts like the mind's computer software to reduce input from the right hemisphere, your verbals, your symbols, and your concepts. And your right consciousness has to do with your sight. 3D, holographic to 2D, etc. But basically, they figured out how to vibe these two hemispheres on the same frequency. And when you do that, this was released. This is facts, family. This is a released document by the CIA. So they started back in the 80s. They wanted to see if they could use psychic ability to train soldiers. And they found that actually, clairvoyance and the remote viewers. The remote viewers, they found that it worked and it was real, fam. So they started figuring out how to hone it and how to train it. They found that when they got them on the safe frequency, you could astral travel. So they would send you, but it took a while. Like, it wasn't that easy. It wasn't like an overnight type thing. They had to train your mind. They had to do exercises. You'd had to meditate. But it is said, though, based on the documents I read, and you can Google it right now. Google Project Gateway Experience. And you will and go to images, and it'll show you the documents, the actual typed up letter between a couple generals, one of the higher ups in the CIA and one of the higher ups in the U.S. government. The CIA was actually keeping this hidden. They were keeping it on the low from the U.S. government, okay? And the U.S. government was like, what is going on here? We don't quite really know. So guess what? We're going to send in an agent. So they sent an undercover agent in there. And you can actually look, if you Google it, you can find the testimony of the agent, of said agent. All right? I should have sent it to myself. I'm going to check it out right now. But that was really fascinating. The agent's testimony was really fascinating, you guys. You could just tell he was definitely a pro. Like, he was a genius level man, for sure. Project Gateway. And you got to type in CIA after it. If you don't type in CIA, it'll take you on some tangent. Because obviously, you know why. Project Gateway. To swerve people, man. To swerve you. CIA. And like I say, if you look up the pictures, images. Okay. I want to find the exact testimony of. Okay, right here, fam. Listen to this, y'all. Listen to this right quick. This is the testimony of the agent from Project Gateway, okay? You tasked me to provide an assessment of the Gateway experience in terms of its mechanics and ultimate practicality. Now, why they did this is because they were throwing a bunch of money at it. And they didn't know if they were throwing a bunch of money at the secret, the secret agent cat that they tried to make, or if they're like gonna have value in this. I'll have to share the feline story. That's a funny one, but they basically tried to use a cat as a spy, and it didn't really work that well. So, and it says, as I set out to fulfill this task, it soon became clear that in order to assess the validity and practicality of the process I needed to go through, supporting research and analysis to fully understand how and why the process works. So he delved in, man, head first. He totally enthralled himself in this project. Frankly, sir, that proved to be an extremely involved and difficult business. Initially, based on our conversations with a physician who took the Gateway training with me, I had recourse to the biomedical models developed by blah, blah, to obtain information concerning the physical aspects of the process. So he had to delve in, and he had to describe eventually use quantum mechanics, okay? So quantum mechanics, right? They use quantum mechanics to describe the nature and functioning of human consciousness. I had to be able to construct a scientifically valid and reasonably lucid model of how consciousness functions at the Gateway. Once this was done, the next step involved to recourse to theoretical physics in order to explain the character of time and space dimension, y'all. Time and space dimension, meaning they trained them how to travel through space-time using their astral body. Using their astral body. Their spirit, their soul, right? And this is all documented by the CIA. It's documented by the CIA. All right? I mean, I don't know what more you need to hear. You know, y'all can say smoke blowing, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the CIA don't blow smoke, y'all. And if they release the information, they like to release it because every time they do, usually it skates under your nose. You know what I mean? Usually it skates under people's noses. Nobody hears about it. Nobody hears about this shit. Finally, I again found it necessary to use the physics to bring the whole phenomenon of out-of-body states into the language of physical science to remove the stigma of its occult connotations. occult connotations, meaning like religious. Okay, he had to actually physically get into it so he could say, okay, I'm separating the religious aspect. I've got to throw out the religious aspect of it in my mind. Maybe he wasn't a religious man. And put it in a frame of reference suited to objective assessment, suited to what I got to accomplish as a FBI agent, right? So dude learned how to astral travel. He did it all. I mean, he did it all. And the CIA used this, and what they would do so you could gain the ultimate knowledge of it, they would send you back in space-time. They would send you into the future. Or the past, depending. That's what's crazy about it. God dang it. So the CIA knows how to do all this. And what's crazy, though, about it all, is I read somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where, but I read that they had a tool. They had a specific tool, okay, that they can make you gain the astral body that much quicker, okay? And that's the truth. You know what I mean? So, just blocking some people, y'all. Just blocking some people. So, this is actually a lot to do with collective consciousness, okay? This is kind of on the same plane. And I don't know if you guys saw my video on the 100 monkey theory. The 100 monkey theory. The 100 monkey theory. The 100 monkey theory is awesome. And it's true. It's a true story. Okay? They went and they did a study. These scientists, these U.S. scientists, they did a study on an island off Japan called Kojima. Okay? This island had a monkey species on it. A generally of higher intelligence monkey species. They put sweet potatoes on the shore. And I don't know why this video didn't get much love. Probably because it's true. They put these sweet potatoes on the shore, and they were not native to the land. So the monkeys weren't familiar with what they were. But it wasn't long before one of the more mature monkeys, she was 18-month-old named Emo. She's an 18-month-old monkey named Emo. It wasn't long before she started washing her potatoes off before she ate them, because obviously eating sand sucks, okay? Guys, eating sand stinks. So, she learned how to wash them off. And before you know it, 5 monkeys learned how to wash them off, following suit. Then 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 100. But they noticed something special on that 100th monkey. Obviously, that monkey, that species of monkey, it lived on that island, so it lived in nearby islands surrounding it. There was water in between. Sometimes 1,000, probably a mile, half-mile water in between anyway. Thousands of feet. I don't know why my camera's acting so funky, guys. I apologize. Let me get a little lower here, maybe. They found that after that 100th monkey learned how to wash the potatoes, every monkey on the islands surrounding them, already knew how to wash the potatoes when they would drop the sweet potatoes off next, to that island next. So it was almost like a grid or something unlocked. And it was a network. Once the 100th monkey learned how to wash the potatoes before they ate them, they could introduce brand new monkeys, sweet potatoes, and every single one of them would know right away how to wash the potatoes. Wash the potatoes, okay? So that's collective consciousness. That's collective consciousness. We have it. But we haven't been taught how to harness it. We've never known we had it. Okay? Obviously, they don't want us to know we have it. Because if we did, we could communicate on a mass scale very quickly. There would be no need for communication or get our phones or our CBs to gather or talk. Okay? If we wanted to gather. So, this all has to do with this on the same plane of astral travel, Collective consciousness has to do with the spirit realm and out-of-body experiences, frequencies, 5 dimensions, 4 dimensions, okay, all that stuff. And this study, they never really, some people had debunked the study of the monkeys, but they didn't debunk it necessarily. They just didn't agree with it. They said there had to have been some other factor in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Which is possible. But I know that they were separated by long ways of water, and there was no way for them to, travel back and forth. They weren't swimming monkeys or nothing like that. So I thought that was a pretty crazy story. But of course, I didn't get no love in it for some reason. But it all has to do with the Project Gateway and CIA. All that. It's all on the same plane. So, the CIA supposedly shut it down in 2003. I do not agree with that. I think they're still doing it. Okay? They started in the 1980s. And they basically figured out that you can, and we can do it, you guys. And that's what this lady was saying about the fairies. What we don't realize is when we vibe at that higher frequency, which I think a lot of animals vibe at that we don't know. For example, I think almost all animals vibe at a higher frequency than humans. You got dogs, cats, all of them. I think they vibe at a higher frequency than us. I really do. Their awareness of others, their awareness of being, their awareness of other creatures on earth is higher. And that goes with even ghosts. Okay? I had a buddy over not too long ago, and we was talking on this crazy stuff, you know what I mean? Talking on vibes and frequencies and all the realms, and he was telling me about these factions called the middle guides, the middle space between heaven and hell. The middle faction that kind of regulated the balance, if you will. You know what I'm saying? The middle faction, and then I ended up doing a story on the Book of Enoch. Sorry, I'm trying to read some comments and kind of going back and forth. The Book of Enoch. Did you guys check those stories out? After we talked about this middle ground between heaven and hell, or good and evil, I went and started looking at the Book of Enoch. The Watchers, okay? The Watchers and Enoch themselves, the Watchers were sent down to watch humanity as we developed on earth. Basically, they could see all, know all, and hear all. Okay? There was 200 of them. Now, Enoch they're described as angels in Genesis. Enoch describes them as angels, but they're not necessarily angels in good standing with God. And by angels, I just mean spirit being. Spirit being, most likely. They were tasked with this mission to watch man and make sure everything stays kosher more or less with us as we develop. But they got tired of our arrogance. After a while, we kept bragging and bragging and bragging about the beauty of our daughters, okay? And we would boast about it all the time. So the Watchers grew tired of this. They decided they were going to descend from their post in heaven and bear our human daughters as wives, more or less, and have their children, okay? So they descend upon us and they have giants. Okay? They have giants. And the giants and us coexist for a while. But before they did all this, they made a pact. They made a pact among themselves because they knew that people wouldn't look kindly on the higher ups fraternizing with the people and the humans. They aren't so spiritual beings aren't supposed to long for flesh and blood. Spiritual beings aren't supposed to long for flesh and blood. All right? So when they do, it's a sin, and it's an egregious sin. I can dig that. God is your conscience, and your ego is Satan. I can dig that. Yep. And they were called the Nephilim. They were called the Nephilim. And dude, I thought I was going to get more hits on the Book of Enoch. I thought it was an awesome story, you know what I mean? But it didn't take. I don't know if it's because it's religious or what, you know what I mean? But I liked it. I enjoyed reading it and I enjoyed learning about it. I really did. So they descend upon earth. They bear their children with our daughters, and each of them, namely Azazel, teach man the sins of knowing such things as metal and armor. The unknown metals of earth they showed us. They taught women that jewelry and makeup, beautifying products were essential, and they made men more attracted to women. Like, we didn't have knowledge of all this stuff. But Azazel showed us the sins of and created the sins of man. And basically ego, like he said. So they had their party for a little while. They had the giants and everything was okay and it coexisted for a little while, but then the giants started acting up. They started pillaging villages and they started eating people. And that's when the archangels who were watching stepped in and they went to God. And they went to God and said basically what they were seeing, and God said, I already know, I have a plan. Basically the end of days. God said the end of days was the only way to clear the Nephilim of earth, rid the earth of their entire species so they cannot reproduce in the future and hinder mankind. All right? So, before this though, he tasked each of the archangels with a specific task. Uriel was to go down and tell Noah, say, hey, this is what you need to do, build a boat. You're our future. You're going to repopulate mankind. Raphael was to punish Azazel. And Azazel got the worst punishment of all. He will not even be judged because Azazel did the most teaching. Azazel did the most teaching of sin. He will not even be judged. They're going to cast him into a opening in the desert, and they're going to use stones to pin him under the desert for eternity. And then Gabriel was sent to kill the children of man born of sin and the children, or the Nephilim basically, the children of the angels born up with human and the Nephilim. So what he did was create a war between the two. And then, last but not least, Michael. He was sent to kill and bound, this is a tough one, Samaziah. That's the leader of the Watchers. And he was going to bound him in a deep, dark dungeon till Judgment Day, till God comes down and the judgment happens. So, and that's actually known as Shield, I guess. That's where this place is called. This is called Shield. And where Enoch plays a role in all this is he plays the middleman between God and the Watchers. After the Watchers hear what he's planning, the flood and all this, they get scared. And they decide to sign and send a petition to God. Well, Enoch went to sleep that night, and the Lord told him in his dreams, no petition. Punishment will ensue. So that basically, they punished the Watchers and then flooded the earth to rid the earth of Nephilim. Now, I'm not sure if that's the exact story. The Dead Sea Scrolls is where the Book of Enoch was found in 1946. I want to say it was in Israel, somewhere in a cave in Israel. So I know, bro. I agree, bro. I know. If you try not using God's name as often, okay. I feel you. I know it's like, how do you, the Lord? I mean, it's all the same, right? There's a book called Reign of the Anunnaki. So this is where all this comes in. The Book of Enoch, the Watchers, all that. I do believe that it wasn't so fantastical. It wasn't so God necessarily oriented. I believe it did have to do with the Anunnaki. It did have to do with the Anunnaki and a higher ancient alien being. Do I believe in there's a higher spirit of God and all this and that? Yeah, I do. But I don't think it had to do with the situation. I think the Anunnaki had to do with it, and I think that a higher ancient alien faction like the Galactic Federation, if you will, like the entire universe's federation, the leader of them got pissed off because maybe they made man, and then the Anunnaki came in and screwed it up. I'm not 100% sure on that. The Book of Enoch kind of confused me on what I believe, and I think I know. It kind of confused me. I'm not even going to lie. Just the way the timeline stays, the Anunnaki and, they're higher up. Who was their higher up? Now, I've read on many occasions that the Atlanteans run the entire Galactic Federation. Okay? Hey, appreciate that, bro. For real. For real. Yeah, I took that down, dude. Yeah, right. I agree. I agree on that, bro. I believe some of it we are not supposed to know. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Aliens are demons in disguise telling us that they're from a different world. No kidding. But, I mean, it could be, but I can't sit here and believe all aliens are demons, you know what I mean? Did you guys see that video I shared about, if you guys ever get a chance, check out Zohar Stargate, the Zohar Stargate page. It's a friend of mine who's a girl. She's from Europe, but it's supposed to be more anonymous, but Zohar Stargate's more anonymous. Anyway, this chick runs the page. She's really good. Check out Zohar Stargate. It has awesome videos, you guys, on all kinds of stuff that you would not believe. It'll blow your mind. It's Zohr Stargate. And that's her name on TikTok. Check it out. She's good. But yeah, I agree. It's funny you say that. How you doing? About the energy dancing and all this stuff. 11 dimensions most likely. But energy dancing and all this stuff. And I've been thinking about it a lot. So I read something on the internet the other day about the upper and lower astral realms, and there's a middle astral realm. Each of them are divided into they're divided up, and they do their own thing. After you die, you go here. The lower astral realm is a part spirit, and some matter exists in the world, but it's mostly a spirit world. It's probably like 2/3 to 1/3, like where we're all matter and some spirit. This next level, the first level after you die, is the next it's like the lower astral realm, lower heaven, if you will. But I'm gonna avoid saying that. There's some matter there, and it's mostly spirit beings, right? And then once you've seen all the sights, it's beautiful. It's megalithic. It's got beautiful structures. They take you across the galaxy to see other life forms, and you can travel anywhere you want, and you have these hosts, and they treat you. It's just basically total bliss, and it's total nothing but good feeling. Okay, once you mastered that astral realm, you go to the middle astral realm. This is all spirit. Okay, this is all light energy. Here, you're going to see ancient beings and gods in our histories that were fantastic. Maybe some of the archangels, right? Zeus, gods like that. You're going to see very, very powerful spirit beings. Maybe, probably not Jesus, he'd be the next level, but once you master that, okay, once you realize your body, and they teach you how to use your spirit body, they teach you how to use the orb that you will become, right? This is just a vehicle of flesh right here. This is just one experience on this lifetime. One experience on this lifetime. We probably had many before, okay? What happens in this life is just so you learn and your spirit learns something it hasn't learned yet to take on to the next level. Because all that it wants to be, all the source energy wants to be is all-knowing. He wants to know every feeling, every pain, every suffering, every happiness, every love, every sadness. He wants to know all feeling and all that is, okay? So every life you have, you know, don't say why me, you know, necessarily. Don't fall into these lulls of woe is me. Don't think of it like it's so serious. This is what you're supposed to be learning, and this is what you're supposed to be taking care of now in this life, okay? And don't sweat it too much. So then you get to learning your astral body, your spirit body, your energy. Once you master that and the travel of it, then you go to the next level, and that's the upper astral realm. And each of these 3 astral realms are broken down into sub-realms, right? There's like so many different ones. But the idea of it is 3 main astral realms. Okay? Lower, middle, upper. And once you get to the upper astral realm, that's when you have full-on consciousness, you have full-on being, you know what's around you at all times. Your view is not just in front of you, it's 360 at this point. You can see around you at all times. Travel anywhere, do anything you want. But after a while of being there, you don't want to ever leave. But after a while of being there, the source energy will say, hey, it's time. And that's when you get pushed down into another body. Maybe human, maybe not, I don't know. Probably, because that's the test level we're at. And you get pushed into another human body, you come out, let's do it all over again. Just saying, it's a theory, okay? I read it online, I thought it was really cool, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a really cool theory, and I was like, damn, Operation Fishbowl. I don't know that one, bud. Hey, we're all entitled to our opinion, fam. That's okay. Yes, deja vu. Thank you. There you go. Deja vu. That's an example of, that's why you get deja vu. And have you all been seeing these pictures of people, like celebrities especially, being shared of current time and then shared of them way back in like the 1700s? Y'all been seeing those? Basically them in past lives? It is a really cool theory. It's true, I think. But no, all that sharing of pictures of people, they'll share themselves and then they'll share another picture and it'll be them way in the back, freaking like 16, I don't even know, 1700s. Pretty crazy. And they look exactly the same. I've seen one of Johnny Depp, a couple other actors too. But yeah, basically reincarnation is what they're thinking, I guess. But I don't know how you come out looking the same. That's crazy though. But what's going on? No. Jay-Z, what up? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It's forever flowing. Think about it. Why aren't we plugged in? Where's our energy source? Where's our electrical energy source? We don't have one. Our heart, probably. Truly. But, yeah. End of the day, we aren't plugged in. So it has to be something that is soul. Okay? If you look at it on an energy level, it's crazy. What was I going to say here? There's something else I want to talk about. Did you guys see my video on the grand experiment at all? It ain't getting no love. I don't know why. They're like totally killing that one. Damn, nice. You're lucky. Astral projection at 7? That's what's up. I wish I would have known all this stuff way long time ago, fam. My Lord, have I been deprived of such knowledge. If they would teach us how to do this like right away, imagine where people could be. You know what I mean? Got some dust on my shit. Imagine where people could be. So I shared a couple other videos. Did you guys, that's what I was going to ask you, the Zohar Stargate video. Did you guys see where the guy said the moon is a spaceship? And he said that we're just spectacles, like we're just the spectacles of ultimately numerous alien factions that come in here and they look at us like a zoo. Did you guys see that one? That's pretty funny. I thought that was pretty humorous. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I know. Could you imagine being able to astral travel? Yeah, wasn't that one crazy though? Wasn't that one crazy? Kind of on the same concept of the Grand Experiment. If you guys watched the Grand Experiment, I just posted that one. It was later tonight, but it ain't getting a lot of push for some reason. Usually I say that's because they're true. They don't get no push when they're super true. No, actually the Project Gateway is actually doing all right now. 10.5K. I was actually surprised as hell on the likes I got on that, just to double check it. Yeah, almost 2,200 likes on 10,000 views. So the way I gauge it is when I post a video, before when I was like at 300,000 followers or so to like 700, 800,000, I could get past with a 10% like to view ratio. Meaning if I got 10% likes, they'd push me to the For You page. As I've gained followers, that number's gone up, I noticed. I can make it within the 15%. This one's got over 20 right now. So that's killing it. People like the fairies. Hey, I believe in fairies too. I don't care what anybody says. So that goes along with the Grand Experiment. So the Grand Experiment took place 65... Oh, yeah, I do a lot of cryptids, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I know that invisible cloak was sick, bro. A lot of people don't believe that, but man, I actually read, so like I've told you guys in the past, with the information once in a while, when I post videos, I get comments that nobody else sees. And I see things like verification comments all the time from soldiers themselves, okay? That invisibility cloak, that one may have been green screen, but God, it was damn good. Let me tell you that. It was a real good job. Now, doesn't matter whether it's green screen or not. They stole that from the USA back in the early 2000s. We already had a cloaking technology in the 90s. Soldiers verified it. I used that in blah, blah, blah in the 90s, Desert Storm. And then another guy said, hey, I used that cloaking tech in Afghanistan in 2001. I'm like, damn, that's badass, yo. So it's not fake. And the technology continues to gain. They're using quantum technology. I guess it's a lot to do with quantum physics. And so which I'm not super good at, but I get it when they say it. It means something heavy. You know what I mean? I could be a little more knowledgeable of that. But regardless, they're making that stuff right now. So if you haven't figured out that the government doesn't share its tech until about 50 years later, and if they use it a lot, they won't share it for 100 years later. And that's facts. Time travel, they won't share that until probably another 100 years. But they've been already known how to do it since the 70s, 80s. Not knowing how quite, but they've actually ran into machines that they could do it from past humans. Under the Sphinx, to be exact. Under the Sphinx. They found a time-traveling machine that would actually help you to... It would only let you astral travel, okay? It never let you physically travel. But eventually, we broke the mold. Predictive programming is real. If you guys don't know what predictive programming is, it is the process by which movies and shows predict the future. And what they are said to do is they're supposedly supposed to soften up the masses for the truth when it comes out. Kind of like ETs. All of a sudden, ETs are all over the place. Like, people are using ET and the aliens and using them in advertisements and all this as if it's like not taboo, right? Like it always was taboo. And it's kind of like irritating because you go, guys like me, you're kooky conspiracy theorists, right? Have been saying it all along. But now it's coming cool, bro, to be an alien believer. No, y'all thought that shit was dumb not too long ago, remember? And some people still think it's dumb. which y'all are just way out of the lunch, man. If you don't think there's aliens out here, shit. I'll go watch my Pentagon confirms authenticity of this video. Tucker Carlson. I seen him on the news. Recorded it. He gets together with the guy that shot video of these UFOs, and the Pentagon did, in fact, verify. Whatever they are UFOs. Did they say where they were aliens or not? They might not be. They're alien to us because we aren't even near their realm in technology and other stuff like that. They are much more advanced, but that doesn't mean they aren't just humans from another time or more advanced and then reset, whatever. Could be. I don't know. I believe it's a different entity than that, but we've been on this earth much longer than we think we have, and people are told we have, guys. Okay? Just so you know. Just so you know. That light is crazy. I got a new light. It's like right in my eyes. So, the grand experiment. Over 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs went extinct, okay? Well, the dinosaurs were the experiment on Earth before we were here, before we're allowed here, before they came up with our species to inhabit it. The dinosaurs ran the Earth for 200 million years, longer than a reign of any human being ever even tried to run, okay? When they got tired, I guess you'd say, or bored with the dinosaurs, I guess you'd say, they came up with a new species, a humanoid species, Neanderthals. So they, in my opinion, I believe they created the extinction event for the dinosaurs. Okay? Yeah, there we go. Whoa, bro. Oh, my God. Wow. Thank you, guys. I was like, what the hell? My fucking pupils are all like, ugh. Couldn't even see myself. I look like the freaking demon or something. Wow. That light is bright, y'all. Nah. Anyway, redo. No wonder I have a headache, kind of. You know what I mean? So anyway, thank you for that, bro. Appreciate you, for real. And of course, like, this light is like where I'm sitting. It's like the perfect circle to where my eyes are. I don't know if they planned that, because it's like a higher end, like, it's for green screens, in fact. It's for green screens. I got a green screen coming, by the way, a nice one, for my YT adventures. I'm going to try something a little different, you know? See if I can maybe pop the algorithm there a little quicker without trying to use TikTok's platform to create my videos. Which I don't mind. I love TikTok. I'd rather be a TikToker on YouTube anyway if that was the case. But I know a few of them pop on there. But, okay, so they created the extinction event for the dinosaurs. Okay? Put Neanderthals down here. Then they roamed the earth for 60... So I know it sounds crazy, guys, but they found bipedal footprints all over the world that were said to be over 100 million even years old. They've even found footprints that they claim to be 200 million years old. So we might even be wrong about the dinosaurs. Real shit. And they found those in New Mexico in a stone that is only hardened 200 million years ago. Okay? I actually did a great series on Skinwalker Ranch, BB. Check it out. Yeah, their numbers are way off, huh, Tamala? I like that. I like that name. Yeah, their numbers got to be way off, right? Facts. So, anyway, we've been here a lot freaking longer than they think we have. But so it doesn't necessarily mean this grand experiment is not true. So these higher ancient alien beings found Earth and they seen it would sustain life, so they created a experiment, if you will. It started with probably didn't even start with dinosaurs. Let's be real. But anyway, then when they put humanoids here, and 500,000 years ago, they upped the ante. Okay, they did another click within our DNA. They did another genetic modification within our DNA, which is, I think this is when we went from Neanderthal to the next level. Okay? Not saying there aren't still Neanderthals out here. You know there is. But, but no, they went to the next level of human. Smarter, if you will, like all that. That's when more alien factions got involved. You're talking about the blue avians. Okay? And I did do some research on the blue avians. They're a bird species of alien that are blue, and they walk with 2 feet. Ceasefire, worldwide alert, MK Ultra mind control. Billy Meyer, Pioneer, mind control. Ghost in a shell. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I know about MK Ultra. You'll be the MK Ultra Ghost in a nutshell. You would love my story on if you haven't seen it, Indian Lake Project. You got to watch it. If you scroll down, it's got a gray background set. Okay? And it's probably, there's 5 or 6 videos, 6 videos, right stacked. Watch it. You'll love it. It's MK Ultra on steroids, pretty much. This guy stumbled over a box out here in the woods and blah, blah, blah. This guy says, this is the FBI. Stop investigating now or we will take you down by force. You're funny. I'm not really bearing anything, am I? I don't know. Melon and the Power. No, I don't. Melon and the Power. I know, I agree. Apo G, man. You don't think the world's 2 millions of years old? Possibly. Bird. Going through the comments, yo. Godzilla? Maybe at one time there was a Godzilla-like creature. There's a missing link, though. Oh, yeah, a bunch of races of aliens. So when the grand experiment took place and they did the upgrade on the DNA, they sent down 60 different human alien factions to take part in 22 different genetic programs to advance humans. Okay? Now, supposedly, this guy, dude, his name is something Good. Chris Good? Corey Good, Goode. On that note, with the genetic experiments and stuff. But what they want to do is they want to create a species that can run with them. Basically, that they can invite into their galactic federation or realm. So, every so often, there is a galactic meeting or a super federation meeting where all the aliens, federations, or entities meet that are taking part. I'm sure there's some evil ones that don't. It's kind of like maybe like NATO or like the Allies or like, the UN here or something. But it's in space. So there are some that I imagine don't take part. But they meet every so often. And apparently, the humans don't have a seat at the table yet. This Corey Goode, or either Good, he was the interface with the Galactic Federation and the Guardian race. And he was the mediator between talking to the aliens and the humans on the 22 genetic programs, okay? He was allowed to sit in on the meetings last time, and this was in 2017. This was the last meeting. He was allowed to sit in, but he wasn't allowed to take a seat at the table. Because we're not quite there yet. And that's because of consciousness. Pure and simple, that's all it is. Because we're getting suppressed on our conscious level. 100%. Frequencies, all of it. So they want to see us be able to manage ascension independently, be able to talk to each other within our telekinesis, tell our minds, and stuff like that. If that's possible. You got to vibe pretty high to get there, but even to just astral travel or control dreams, lucid dreams, stuff like that. We just aren't there yet. Collective consciousness, frequencies, love. They said in order to get there, you got to open your heart chakra. That's the final step. Open your heart chakra. And I was reading something interesting today as well about 3D and 4D. Okay? So 3D is the physical realm. It's here, it's now, it's it. And from what I understood, the fourth dimension is the fourth dimension was hard to grasp. So 3D is when you see the box, okay? 4D is when you see the box and the ball inside the box. So it's the next level of the dimension. Now, so 3D was physical. 4D is no concept of space and time. Okay, and we're going into 4D right now. So 3D is just physical. We basically have these hesitations, this reluctance to open up. This, like, we go into something and do a deal with somebody, we're apprehensive. We're thinking of all that could go wrong. To where fourth dimension, you don't have those thoughts. Everybody is trustworthy. Everybody opens their heart and you can vibe. You just know. You love. Okay? There's no concept of time anymore. 3D, time is a three-dimensional concept. And what tells you that we're heading into the fourth dimension is the fact that time is traveling faster than it ever has. Okay? If you guys have noticed, time is traveling faster than it ever has. As you age, as we have aged, it seems like there's twice as much to do, but but half the time to do it, right? So time is gaining momentum, and it seems like, you're thinking, oh, you're just getting older, you're busier, you're doing more. No, it is in fact gaining momentum. Okay, and this all has to do with the solar system. It all has to do with the solar system and frequencies, and it's clicking. And we're about to click, our solar system is about to click into the fourth dimension, where the concept of time is thrown out the fucking window, which would be A-okay with me, So we'll leave 3D, we'll hit the fourth dimension, and then comes the fifth dimension, which the fifth dimension is full-on spiritual, astral, frequency, vibe realm, I imagine. Okay, I got to do a little more research on that. I thought maybe that video would hit. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but what if you took and broke down what each one was? Because I've had so many ask me, hey, what's fourth dimension? What's fifth dimension? And at the time they would ask me, and I'm like, I kind of had an idea what it was. I knew what the goal was, but I didn't know what it was, the fabric of it. Okay, so I'm definitely going to do a little more looking into that. I'd like to check it out. Maybe do some videos on it. No, I don't do... I got to have all that live invitation stuff, like duetting lives and all that. Like, I'll do that if I talk to somebody beforehand, but I ain't going to go out here and duet somebody that's got 20 people watching them when I got... You know what I'm saying? So, I agree.